It's only taken me 2 years to watch this. Literally, somebody asked me to watch this whenever I made my help video, so it's been a minute. Oops. Hi, I'm Lars, and this is My Land. In My Land, I get to do pretty much whatever I want, so today I'm going to talk about the Rutles movie, also known as All You Need Is Cash, and you're going to listen, because it's my land. Welcome to Annoying Memos Land. Beepity beep beepity beep beep. If you're new here, I talk mostly about the Beatles, also TV and movies, and I made a 7-hour video on the TV show Lost that if I don't mention it in every video I do, I will get Mufasa'd by my older, cooler, darker brother, and that would really suck because my brother is my best friend. And also I'd be dead. That puts a damper on things. Please like, subscribe, comment if you're nasty. And if you're cooler than that, consider supporting me on Patreon. Patreon.com/LarsLand. Somehow forgot to mention where you're supposed to go. Where I do weekly Beatles song breakdowns. And there's upwards of 20 hours of bonus footage, other stuff, full movie reactions, music that we can't have here, all kinds of stuff. But most importantly, like, subscribe, comment if you're nasty. Or if you're not, you can comment if you're clean. Very clean though. All right, now let's go back to My Land. If I'm being honest, there's a lot of Beatle movies or like Beatle biopics, etc. that I haven't seen because basically I got involved in the real life Beatles and I didn't care about the fictionalized stuff, which means that I missed out on a lot of fun jokes in the public zeitgeist of Beatle fandom. So that's cool and definitely not giving me FOMO, whatever. But I am a TV/movie person before I'm a Beatles person, and I asked y'all what movies you wanted to see me watch after the Midas Man video, and then I did a poll, and this was the runaway favorite. So I thought I should do a little video on it. I wasn't gonna blue balls, y'all. Also, I've been rewatching Game of Thrones with like some minor adjustments, and I can't stop singing the theme song, but like this. Meep, meep, mema, meep, meep, mema, meep, meep, mema, meep, meep, mema, meep. Meep, meep, mema, meep, meep, mema, meep, meep, mema, meep, meep, mema, meep. Which is fine for me, but not good for anyone around me, including my cats. So, I should probably, have some sort of palate cleanser in here. I'm becoming insufferable. I am known to give a lot of background in my videos, like it's kind of my thing, but we're not really doing that today. Not happening this time. No. Here's a quick definition thanks to some Wikipedia stuff that I read. The Rutles is a fictional band parodying the Beatles created by Eric Idle and Neil Innes. Innes.
Neil Innes.
Okay. It started as a sketch for Eric Idle's BBC comedy show Rutland Weekend Television during the mid-70s. The band went on to tour and record music, released 2 studio albums, and 2 of their songs became hits on the UK charts. So, fictional band is a bit of a misnomer. Fiction is in the eye of the beholder. That's how that phrase goes, right? The Rutles starred in 2 movies, the 1978 All You Need Is Cash, which we're watching today, and the 2002/2003, depending on where you live, The Rutles 2 Can't Buy Me Lunch, which maybe we'll watch at a later date. All You Need Is Cash is a series of skits covering the Rutles' story that follows the chronology of the Beatles' career in goofs and gags. It stars a shit ton of people, and I don't want to go through the entire cast right now because I already spoiled myself on a few key people. Whoops. But the main cast is Eric Idle as Dirk McQuickley, a parody of Paul McCartney, Neil Innes as Ron Nasty, a parody of John Lennon, John Halsey as Barry Wham or Barrington Womble, a parody of Ringo Starr, and Nikki Fattar as Stig O'Hara, a parody of George Harrison. Gonna need you guys to take it easy on me regarding pronunciation, please and thank you. I'm not gonna get into my childhood trauma about being corrected on how I speak, but I'm a sensitive little flower. Treat me as such. I'm an orchid. Don't touch me. All right, listen, there are things that are not to be disputed, okay? One of them is that I'm a lowly idiot, right? I think throughout this, I only mentioned Barry as a name like once or twice. Stig, maybe 3 times. And I get Dirk and Ron switched. Ron Nasty being the John Lennon parody and Dirk McQuickley being the Paul McCartney parody. So when I fuck this up, I'm going to do my best to correct on screen with a click. This is the click. All right. Like I've said before, or if I haven't yet, I will. Almost all of you know more about this movie than I do. You've all seen it. I haven't. So please forgive me for fucking that up. Just need I remind you guys that I am ill and I'm trying. But anyway, I'm sorry. Just listen for the click and be forgiving. Thank you. It's the have a holiday spirit. Okay. By the way, I'm honestly kind of looking into this, and I'm looking at the real lineup of the information of the personnel of the Rutles. Kind of want to do a deep dive on this. What do we think about that? Is that too much? Is that annoying? Okay, I'm shutting up now. Sorry. Because of a technical issue that I'm dealing with right now, I'm going to have the sound coming through my computer speakers and picking up on my mic. Is it the best option? No, but it is better than what we would be dealing with, so just whatever. And depending on whatever copyright restrictions I inevitably deal with, I might come back and kind of give a plot analysis and then talk about it with a couple of my reactions here and there. That's typically what copyright does to me. She's a fickle bitch. So, all right, so let's watch it. I haven't heard any of this music. It was pretty spot on. That sounds pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so I am ill, but I am not too ill to film. So as far as appearance, voice, hair, just let it go. Tell me I'm beautiful and I will be happy, thank you. The version that I watched was the 1080p version. You can find it on YouTube. You can find the Rutles on YouTube and you can find it on Internet Archive. It's apparently different from the 1978 version, which I found out while editing this thing, but I do have the full watch through available on my Patreon. By the way, when I'm just watching something and not thinking about it, I have, you know how people have like resting bitch face? Well, I definitely have that, but it's more like I have resting dread / concern face. Like I'll be like, and no idea. So just like, I don't know, give me some grace there. How is it that a parody biopic is the most accurate Beatles impersonation or biopic that I've seen ever? Now that we are two, it all has. Why is this the best George Harrison I've ever seen? They even have the Beatles spirit. It blew me away. I was so impressed. There's even a little clip with George Harrison eating here, or Stig, he's eating, whatever. He's eating an onion. Let's talk a little bit about the movie. As I said before, this loosely follows the Beatles story chronologically, and it gets so much right. Interviews with Mick Jagger and Paul Simon as themselves, kind of narrating their experiences on the Rutles, tie the narrative together, and it's a nice touch, and it is also funny and charming. Dirk and Ron meet before anyone else. The band is a mess and goes to Hamburg, where it is absolutely filthy. It is called the Rat Cellar here, but also the Kaiser Keller in real life. Eric Idle plays several roles in this, including the narrator, and there are some great touches with him running, trying to keep up with the camera, and here where he's talking about the rat cellar, not the rat cellar, that would be ridiculous.
It's literally, in German, cellar of rats. That's not cellar of rats, a seller of rats.
Right.
A person who sells rats for a living to another man, as it were.
And then there's A Cellar Full of Noise, Brian Epstein's book, which is a nice little touch.
Of course not. That means a cellar full of rats.
That would be insane. But he's generally hilarious. Like, look at this bit with his hair.
As a child, Leggy's mother never allowed him to play with the other little boys.
This hair. It's like on a stupid boat with a stupid hat.
Some people are drenched, freezing to death on a stupid boat with a stupid hat. Or like the Great Falls is the bedrock of my life, eroding beneath me.
The Beatles started at the Indra Club, where the living conditions were particularly awful. The band lived in a small room of concrete with tiny beds and no privacy. They washed up in the men's bathroom. Very sanitary. They made friends with Astrid Kircher and Klaus Vormann, who were a couple at the time. Astrid became close with all the boys and worried about their health and hygiene, and they washed up at her place, and she later provided them or hooked them up with accommodations. They went on to play at the Bambikino, which is another club. By the way, this is all in the Reepersbahn, which is like the red light district in Hamburg. The boys were having the time of their life. And after Astrid and Klaus broke up, she started dating Stu. In the mockumentary, they make a funny but poignant observation about Stu, in this case Leppo's, contribution to the band.
Leppo, a friend of Nasty's from art college, who mainly used to stand at the back. He couldn't play the guitar, but he knew how to have a good time. And in Hamburg, That was more important.
Yeah, kind of true. And a kind of mean joke about his death, but whatever.
Here, one weekend, Leppo crawled into a small trunk with a small German Fraulein and was never seen again.
That's mean. Leggy, or Epi, is introduced with an overriding narrative that he didn't like the Rutles music, but he did like their trousers because they were tight.
He liked it?
No, he hated it.
Well, what did he like?
Well,
Boys.
the trousers.
What
Fair enough.
about their trousers?
Well, they were,
Tight.
they were very, tight.
Leggy saw something in the band and shopped their music around. Just such great attention to detail with this Some Other Guy clip here. Which is something that we see a lot, but wasn't as well circulated in 1978. We have to take some appreciation for that. Of course, there's the Happy record executive who said yes, and the asshole who said no.
You said that guitar groups were on their way out and would never make any money at all in the 60s.
Good news, Skull Vodka is on its way in.
What's it like to be such an asshole?
And Dick Jaws, the unemployed music publisher who smugly got an unfair but all-encompassing deal of the Rutles music, as did Dick James with the Beatles. That is another video for another day.
Dick Jaws, an unemployed music publisher of no fixed ability, signed them up for the rest of their lives.
Lucky, really?
At the Royal Variety performance, the Rutles meet the Queen and Princess Margaret.
First to arrive is Ruttle band Princess Margaret.
Of course.
Escorted by her husband, Lord Snowdon.
Dirk dedicates a song to Barry's mom.
Thank you, and now we'd like to do a number
Here it is.
dedicated to a very
Here it is.
special lady in the audience tonight, Barry's mum. And now, without any more ado, here's your very own.
Honestly, I can fuck with this song, I'm not gonna lie. Unless if it like takes a big dive, the song starts out really strong. In a similar vein as John saying, for all the people in the cheaper seats, clap your hands, and for everyone in the more expensive ones, just rattle your jewelry.
For the people in the cheaper seats, clap your hands. And the rest of you, if you just rattle your jewelry.
This was taken well in real life. In the Rutles, the Queen is bored, which I thought was awesome. Not entertained. Bored. It didn't take long for the Rutles to gain momentum. I believe it was a period of 9 days.
They flew to America to find out if they were more than 9-day wonders.
DJ Bill Murray the K promoted the Rutles endlessly, as did Murray the K with the Beatles. He's also called the fifth Beatle, one of many, because of his influence for the Beatles' success in the US. When the Rutles went over to America, they were immediately in Rutlemania.
More. 10,000 girls were there to say hello to these 4 guys from Liverpool. It was the most famous arrival in America since Christopher Columbus.
It was great. This has been an extremely fun watch. I'm done. Okay, goodbye. Holy shit. Okay. Oh my god. Woo! Also, there's this We Ain't Written No Poetry interview here.
The Beatles read their own poetry on a documentary, Meet the Beatles. All over the world.
Oh, really? I don't get that. I don't understand this.
Tomorrow night from 7 to 8, here it wins. Don't.
We ain't written no poetry.
The movie relentlessly and unapologetically, also hilariously, rips the Ed Sullivan intro, which I loved.
The dog's moral of the nation, and these veterans agree with me that the city never has witnessed the excitement stirred by these youngsters from Liverpool who call themselves the Rutles. Now tonight...
Shameless. The most famous Beatles interviews are parodied, Ringo wanting to start hair salons.
What's your ambition?
I'd like to be a hairdresser. Or 2.
Damn.
I'd like to be 2 hairdressers.
First time.
Damn. That is a good... that's a good Ringo voice.
I've always fancied having a lady's hairdresser. sell them, you know, a string of them, in fact. And trot round in my stripes and my tails, you know, like a cup of tea, like.
Paul talking about selling songs.
What Ron and I'll do is probably to write some songs, you know, and sell them to people. We tried to write some for the Rolling Stones, and they're probably going to buy them.
We've thought about it, and probably the thing that John and I will do will be write songs as we have been doing as a sort of sideline now. We'll probably develop that a bit more, we hope. Who knows, at 40 we may not know how to write songs anymore.
Little quips from John here and there. Loved it.
Yeah. Well, you know, we probably will. It's up to Mr. Epstein, our manager.
For the Rutles, success was only a drumbeat away.
Why is this stuff more accurate than like the few biopics I've actually seen? That's how you can tell that these are real fans, though. A lot of this stuff is very reminiscent, so similar to the real footage that it could be just ripped from the real footage. It's not, but it could be. It is like remarkably accurate, actually. This is kind of fucking with. People opine over the Rutles and their significance in scholarly music. Scholars won't take them seriously, or certain scholars won't. This guy did.
Welded with historic.
Not the fucking. Oh my god. There's a lot going on here. So we've got a coke ring. We've got a little horn in here for like pills or whatever. We've got our little razor blade to cut up the lines. A joint in hand, of course.
Of, in essence, merely beta potential harmonic material into the prime cultural exponents of aeolian cadenzic cosmic stanza form.
And he's not saying anything whatsoever. Like, none of that made sense.
But he didn't really tell us either.
No.
So, we went to New York.
Awesome. Love the drug touches. The mockumentary briefly digs into the rock and roll influence from black artists.
The cradle of the blues. That's black music sung mainly by whites.
Ah! Oh my god, they're just saying it. Good for them, you know? Good for them. Black music sung mainly by the whites. By the way, the Beatles were never shy about their love for black music, that black musicians were their idols, and that they took a lot of inspiration from black musicians. They played with black musicians. Brian Epstein signed black musicians. This was not something that they were shy about, but let's be real. Let's be real.
You are the idols of so many people in this business. Do you have any idols yourself? No one
American colored groups, mainly.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But also uses a trip to New Orleans to comment how needlessly expensive projects like documentaries can be, which I thought was really funny.
To New Orleans to find out just how expensive it is to make these documentaries.
Okay, yeah. The Rutles received MBEs where their Beatle-esque humor is more apparent than ever.
Must have been a great honor meeting the Queen.
Yeah, it must have been.
Do you feel better after seeing the Queen?
No, you feel better after seeing the Doctor.
Oh my god. This is serious. These are like serious Beatle fan pickups. You know, these are guys who have clearly studied. Like, I know that they had been doing this for several years at this point, or at least like a few years at this point, doing these Beatle skits. But these are people who have paid attention to their banter and know how they are. And this is like, I'm kind of blown away by how accurate this stuff is. This is well documented in the Beatles' bedhead interview.
Obscurity in a cellar in Liverpool 4 years ago and now to Buckingham Palace. Gentlemen, what do you think?
It is but you've all seen it. And of course, the Rutles dip their toe into film with A Hard Day's Rut, a slapstick take on an already slapstick movie.
The cinema. In 1965, A Hard Day's Rut changed all that.
A Hard Day's Rut? I wish I was dead. A Hard Day's Rut? This is awesome. I'm gonna do a quick rant about some assholes real quick. And if you don't want to hear me bitch about people being bitches in my comment section, you can skip to this timestamp. I just need to say this shit. Okay? Thank you, because it's my land. So one thing in my Midas Man video, I talked about how John, Paul, and George are the same height. John Lennon is played by like a fancy female rat sold at Petco for $6.99. Tiny motherfucker. The heights are incredibly off-putting as a Beatles fan. I know that that's stupid, but it is weird. Why is Paul 83 inches taller than John when they are all the same height and then Ringo? And people got so, I should have known that people were going to get pissed off that I would say that they're the same. They are within an inch and a half of each other. Some reports are that Paul is 5'11", George is 5'10", and that John is 5'9.5". It seriously depends. It depends on who's standing where, blah, 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 whatever. But people were like, there were some guys that were like legitimately shitheads about it. If you're one of those people watching this, probably not, but if you are, you need to fucking relax. You need to relax. I was talking about a major height discrepancy. It was like this level of height discrepancy between a John and a Paul. So it was like annoying to me. I was talking about a John and a Paul, where in real life they're within an inch. Seriously, it's a negligible height difference. Where Ringo is 5'6". Well, some people were like, he's 5'7", 5'8". No, he's not. He's 5'6", okay? In a survey in like 1963, 1964, he said he was 5'8". Of course he did. Of course he did. Please, he is 5'6". It is like well documented. Everybody knows this. But I know somebody's gonna get fucking mad about that. You need to relax. I'm not the Beatles fan. Apparently some people think I am, but I'm not. But I do know this. You guys need to get a fucking sense of humor. But this doesn't bother me because it is kind of like the same genre of height here, where one is little and then the rest are all kind of the same height. That is what I was talking about. It wasn't the fact that like they were not the exact, I wasn't meaning that they were all like to the millimeter the same height. I was meaning that why is John and Paul, like why are they so different in height? They were extremely different in height. So people got real bummed out about me fucking that one thing up. I come in with a video reaction to a biopic. I come with facts, stats, all kinds of shit. I say one thing offhanded about a height discrepancy that was bothering me personally, and you guys, I'm gonna say it. I come in too accurate. So you gotta nitpick one offhand thing to get pissed off about, because some Beatles fans cannot handle not correcting. Like, they can't do it. They just can't do it. For a fandom that should be going with peace and love, you guys really love to beat the love out of me. Some of these guys, I don't think that they're my subscribers. Just some people just love to beat the love out of me. It's like, you don't want anybody to talk about the Beatles because they just can't do it good enough. Sorry, sometimes I do get ranty, but sometimes I just need to say something. So, end rant. Also, there's some fun Easter eggs. In the audience, there's a girl who's eating a sandwich, but also someone next to her holding a George Harrison photo, a real George Harrison photo. Just like fun little things that you can find in there. Is she eating a sandwich? Oh. Okay. So that's an actual picture of George. I continuously find myself being floored at the George Harrison depiction. This is just something that is incredibly rare that I've never seen done so well. This is the best George Harrison I've seen as far as like a biopic standpoint goes. It is incredibly hard to do a George, and this guy's kind of smashing it. A cameo from Roger McGough made my heart sing, but that's because of the Yellow Submarine tie-in. By the way, if you haven't seen my Yellow Submarine videos, you should watch them. They're high-key, very good, in my opinion.
Roger McGough is a Liverpool poet. He's the author of many books set...
He's also the co-author, co-screenwriter of the Yellow Submarine movie.
He was born in Liverpool, attended school in Liverpool, was even married in Liverpool, and his football team is, of course, Everton.
The Rutles manager, Leggy, gets involved in business deals without really understanding what he's doing or that he got involved in them in the first place, which is a harsh but fair critique of Brian Epstein's business acumen when it came to merchandising deals in the US.
Yes, we have a complete line of Rutles products all ready to go. The Rutles t-shirt, the Rutles plate, the Rutles cup, the Rutles acne.
The Rutles vibrator. They had Beatles perfume. I wonder what it smells like. You know what? No. Nope. Nope. There's some goofy talk about Barry's marriage and then the Rutles film Ouch, a twist on Help.
I'm falling apart. Ouch. 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 Ouch.
These songs are really good. It was particularly funny to me that Shea Stadium was renamed Che Stadium in this movie. The Bigger Than God record-burning fiasco was pretty spot on, except of course in this instance, Dirk was misquoted talking about Rod Stewart. We're bigger than Rod, not bigger than God.
The Rutles were bigger than Rod. Rod Stewart would not be big for another 8 years.
That's all I said, you know. Now all this has to happen.
And people were buying records just to burn them, which I'm sure happened in real life in some cases. Bob Dylan, the ramblin' rascal that he was, introduces the Beatles to an illicit substance of tea.
They met Bob Dylan in the idyllic San Francisco of the mid-60s, and he introduced them to a strange substance that was to have an enormous effect on them.
Crack cocaine. A British band never got into tea. Never. How would they?
Tea.
They're doctors' tea. They're dentists.
The release of this album...
Oh my god, I love her makeup. Oh my god, that is... And of course, Ron has an interview admitting to his scandalous tea drinking habits.
Even the press found out and offered Dirk the chance to deny it.
Do you believe that this was a matter which you should have kept private? Well, the thing is, that I was asked a question by a newspaper, and the decision was whether to tell a lie or to tell him the truth, I decided to tell him the truth. I really didn't want to say anything, because if I had my decision, if I had my way, I wouldn't have told anyone, because I'm not trying to spread the word about this.
It's not up to me. If you come to me and ask me, I'm going to tell you the truth.
Gaslighter.
It is the truth. I have had tea.
By the way, that is not what gaslighting is. The All You Need Is Love performance or Love Life performance is pretty similar to the real thing.
Time to live is to live.
These impersonations are insanely good, and they have to know how good, this is wow. It goes on a bit long, and George's/Stig's mustache is a bit off. That fucking look at this mustache right here. Wow. And this part is a little less funny and almost too good. And that's not a criticism. That's just a fact. I think it was just really on point. And I think I read in one of my comments that Neil Innes didn't write these songs by listening to the Beatles, but because he wanted to go from his memory of how the song sounded. You guys know more about this than I do, so I'm gonna trust your opinions and your facts on this. Operating under the assumption that that's true, wow. I am blown away. And of course, Leggy is standing in during the performance looking absolutely ominous. Leggy.
The sands of time ebbed, leaving them high and dry.
He's gonna walk right into this water.
Tide of history rolled. The tide of history.
Oh my god, please, 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 please go. Okay. I was hoping that it would go up to his knees.
Plus his unusual personal life in California.
I fucking knew. I called it. I knew it. Jack, you can't jump up there. If you're gonna bother me, you should at least come over here and come say hi to everybody. Come here. Come say hello. Little baby. Little baby boy. Stig gets involved with a weird little guy, Arthur Sultan, and therefore so do the rest of the Rutles, because as with the Beatles, when one Ruttle goes along, they all go with him.
Arthur Sultan now invited the Rutles on a getaway from it all table-tapping weekend near Bognor.
Are they going to have Sin get left?
Express, they called it in the newspaper. Someone was very late, one of the girls, they're always late.
They go see him in Bognor. Oh my God. During which they find out Leggy, who'd been in crisis, took a teaching job in Australia. And this is a comedy, so we're just gonna leave that at that.
Tragically, accepted a teaching post in Australia.
Heartbreaking. The Rutles, well, they were shocked and stunned, but they can keep in touch with him via mail.
Well, we're shocked. Yeah, shocked.
And stunned.
Shocked. And stunned. Yeah, stunned.
Very stunned.
John, where would you be today without Mr. Epstein?
I don't know.
Are you driving down to London tonight?
Yes, somebody's taking us down here.
You heard the news this afternoon, I believe.
Yes.
And Paul's already gone down.
Yes.
You've no idea what your plans are for tomorrow?
No, we'd just go and find out, you know.
The Tragical History Tour is so similar to Magical Mystery Tour that I almost have no comments on it. I'm honestly blown away by the attention to detail. They're hitting every mark on the Magical Mystery Tour. My only thing is the tent on the bus windows. The backs of the seats are the same. Obviously, they just rented a bus, right? But like, except that it seems to have a better plot line because at least the guys were doing something and going somewhere for a reason, not just like a day trip to go on a day trip.
It was not the strongest idea for a Rutles film. 4 Oxford history professors on a hitchhiking tour of tea shops in the Rutland area.
You're gonna go in and out, in and out, in and out. Also, I have a Magical Mystery Tour video. You should watch that too. It started this whole long video situation. It really started it. Yep, sure. Love the... Okay, nope, not gonna make... Then, of course, our boys start the Ruttle Corps, which is honestly, once again, a biting and very real commentary on Apple Corps.
I'm sitting in a rented limousine in New York.
Of course.
And it was here, well, not in the limousine, obviously, but in New York, that the Rutles came in 1968 to announce the...
Yes. Okay. George Harrison himself was friends with the creators of this. He produced and funded films with them, and I'm sure he saw the script in advance.
There have been continued allegations.
And this is what I got spoiled for me. Here's George. Okay. He had a lot of thoughts about Apple. He was not shy about sharing them. And he was very vocal about how they were hemorrhaging money. I am positive that this isn't a coincidence. And it is not a coincidence that GH was a reporter interviewing Eric Manchester, aka Derek Taylor.
There have been continued allegations that Ruttle Corps is going bankrupt. Eric Manchester, the Rutles press agent, are these allegations true?
No, they're conjecture, you know.
Outside the Ruttle Corps, as people were robbing the place blind.
They're sort of rumor. I think you find that where you get success, you'll always find this sort of rumor.
Almost as blind as Manchester is, making promises and acting as if everything is going to be fine once they get this little theft situation under control.
So
this wig is iconic and I love it.
Ruttle Corps will last for a very, very...
The Rutles yellow submarine sandwich is also so similarly animated to the actual movie that I had to find out who animated it just to make sure. Who did they have animate this? I don't see. Okay, whatever. And I was extremely, we need another, like, word for this. I would never make you spell it out. I've got to find out who did this. Merriam-Webster, which is the trusted dictionary thesaurus of AP style, the Associated Press. So let's do extremely. Did he actually, Okay, first off, Lorne Michaels is a producer on this, which is cool. I would just be fucked up to find out that Heinz Edelman didn't do this. Incredibly, I use incredibly a lot, though. I was desperately, seriously, intensely, exceptionally, wildly, particularly, fantastically, and exceedingly impressed with how good the yellow submarine sandwich depiction was. Oh, weed. This is weed. If I'm an expert about anything Beatles, and I'm really not, but if I am, it is the Yellow Submarine project, which is not even a fully Beatles project. Both the movie and the album, that's the one thing I do know. And I have to say, wow, 12 out of 10, they're good dogs, Brent. Little Big Films of London. Interesting. What's hilarious and perfect is this joke that the Beatles basically divorcing each other, the Rutles, sorry. See? The Rutles basically divorcing each other and coping with that by getting married.
By March 1969, things had got so bad within the group that both Dirk and Nasty got married.
Not to each other.
Well, it's true. Like, that is actually the most accurate assessment. Which is exactly what John and Paul did in real life. The joke on Ron and Martini McQuickley basically is that they don't communicate with each other and she kind of hates him, which is like just the opposite of Paul and Linda generally, or the perception regarding them.
Always, I will wait.
This is so far the least accurate part of this entire movie. Like, I mean, joking. This is joking. I'm loving this so much, but this is so far, like, the only, like... But I think that that's probably the point, because, like, that's the exact opposite of Paul and Linda. And the joke on Dirk and Chastity is that she's, a Nazi. Okay. Oh my God. Okay.
Nasty had flown back in a hurry from his honeymoon rally in Nuremberg to meet the most feared promoter in the world.
Honeymoon rally in Nuremberg. There's also the digs at experimental films, and this clip and the clips that I found don't have sound. So that's just what that is. Hello, what happened? What happened? It must be silent. Okay, I get it now. It's making fun of Yoko's. Okay, cool. It's silent films. All right, listen. We're all very well aware of John's foot fetish. Like, it's like an obvious thing. It's like a known thing. I'm out of it. I'm done. You can't show the dogs for free. Ron struggles to make music without Dirk. Martini seems bored, and Dirk opens a pretentious gallery, and that's pretty great. There you go.
Exhibition of broken.
Pretty much.
They announced their engagement next day at a press conference held in his shower.
What are you doing this for?
We're doing this for peace and basically to show that the world is, you know, going astray in its thinking.
Stig is dead rumors begin from a couple of armchair analysts, and Stig going full Pooh Bear on the Abbey Road cover. Didn't catch the name of that. Whatever it is in the movie, can't remember. Like I said, I am sick. We're just gonna let it go.
Several so-called facts.
This stuff is awesome. Like, these little bits here, they're great.
Helped the emergence of this rumor. Who, on the cover of their latest album, Shabby Road, he's wearing no trousers.
And I discarded my pants on the street.
You discarded your pants? What happened to your underpants?
I also discarded my underpants. I was wearing a fleece.
Full Pooh Bear!
Perhaps my favorite quips came from Ron Klein, John Belushi's take on Alan Klein, because what he said about his accounts and that anybody can look in his books and that math has never been his subject. It is just the way he talks in circles. It is so 100%.
You ask me, where's the money? Where's the money? I mean, I don't know where the money is. I've never been good with figures. You know that. I don't know anything about math. It was never my good subject. I don't know where the money is, but if you need money, I'll give you money. But this really surprises me.
And what he says to himself during this mirror monologue was just kind of what happened.
You know, I love you more than I love my own family. I do. I want to protect you. I want to help you. I want to protect you from the outside world. Protect you from people like me.
Also, this interview with Derek Taylor, or Eric Manchester, I think, about the Rutles suing each other and every organization in existence, it's just, bread and butter perfection.
Remember, get up in the morning, sue someone. Check the papers haven't been fired. Go to the office, sue someone. Pick up the morning's writs, sue the bank. Go out for lunch, sue the restaurant. Get back in, collect the writs that have been received that afternoon. Read the papers, phone the papers, sue the papers, and go home. Sue the wife.
Once again, I said this during my watch, but you can tell that who crafted this script, everyone behind this, everyone acting in this, these were real fans of the Beatles. I'm not so sure about the SNL cast being fans of the Beatles. I'm talking about the Rutles themselves. The rooftop concert ends in the Rutles getting arrested, which I'm sure these two jokers would have loved to do with the real life Beatles. Ron started a punk band with his wife. Dirk lives in seclusion. Barry started hair salons, and Stig is an air hostess, living their quiet lives as ex-Rutles. But an on-the-street interview in NYC with Gilda Radner shows that perhaps after just a little pressure, everyone still knows every fucking thing about the Rutles, just like with the Beatles in 1978. The narrator ends up in the hospital after a car crash.
The Rutles, the singing phenomena who made the 60s what they are today, there it was, and indeed,
Ends with a car crash. Wrapping up his interview with Mick Jagger. Jagger says that the band ended because of women.
Mick, why do you think the Rutles broke up?
Why do I think they did? Why did the Rutles break up? Women. Just women. Just women getting in the way.
Sure. We'll go with women.
Sure.
And when asked if they'd get back together, he says, I hope not.
Do you think they'll ever get back together again?
I hope not.
Honestly, pretty fucking great parody movie. Extremely entertaining. Totally down to watch more Rutles stuff. Love it. Y'all have great taste. There are other little quips that you have to really enjoy, like the sorry girls, he's married / sorry girls, he's engaged. And these photos of Stu or Lego, what was it? Whatever his name was. Or Lepo, I can't remember. I'm just going off the top of my head things that I forgot to mention. These are really, really good. And the accuracy is just like, like there are so many things that I didn't mention in just this short little video that made it just a really fun watch for a Beatles fan. I'm doing a video on the 1964 Beatles documentary that's coming out in 3 days, but I don't know when the video is coming out. I'm gonna try to give this video a couple days to breathe before just dropping another one, but it will be coming out. By the way, I put out a post about my White Album video. I don't usually share my topics before I put out my videos, but I did this time because the post was kind of serious. You can pause to read it on screen if you want to. After receiving so much support from everyone here, I have been able to kind of reset, and I'm going to start working on that again once I put the 1964 documentary video out. I just wanted to let you guys know that. If you want me to watch more movies, please tell me what to watch, and we can do this all day, every day. I loved this. I had so much fun. So please like, subscribe. Like 80% of you guys are not subscribed, and that is a travesty and very rude. It's free here. I'm not asking you to pay. You guys should help me out and subscribe. Then I get more money and I can do more of this. I can do less of the journalism and more of this bullshit. So you should like, subscribe, comment if you nasty, or if you're good, tell me that you're not nasty, and then I'll say, you're nasty, you're here, you're definitely nasty. I love y'all so much, and y'all come back now, you hear? Bye!
My sweet Lord, my Lord, my Lord, but it takes so long, my Lord, my sweet Lord.